Welcome back to Rise of the Argonauts on UnderPlayed. It's been quite a while since our last installment, and during that time we've had quite a few changes. Most of what I would classify as an upgrade.
Hail, sir. There's reports of trouble in the village. Some foreign warrior demanding to see you.
I'll see to it. Thank you.
Foreign warrior, huh? Well, check that out. But, yeah, as you should be able to hear, we've replaced our microphone with a much higher quality mic.
Again, Jason. Watch your form. Should I have Alceme show you?
Alceme? I'll do it.
He forgets I'm a daughter of Ares, Captain Idas.
How can I, when you so often remind me?
I think he's distracted. I wonder what's got his attention.
Perhaps he'll tell us.
All this talking, that's what.
Oh, silly Jason. You and your tempestuous love affairs in your youth.
Welcome, King Jason. May the blessings of Apollo's light shine upon you. What can Pandora, a humble fortune teller and follower of the sun god, do for you?
Does Apollo grant you the gift of foresight? Is that why you're a fortune teller?
I'm certainly not an oracle or even a seer, but I have some knowledge of the stars and their influence on men.
What of Apollo's virtues? Do they have an effect on your work?
Nobility of purpose, a studious and open mind, compassion. These are the virtues I strive to uphold. There is a reason good men ask Apollo to bless their shields. He favors those whose purpose is true and who fight only to defend what's noble and right.
And besides prophecy, why else do you follow Apollo?
Oh, Apollo rules over much more than that. He is the sun god, he who commands the sun. Civilization, music, and order, all of these are noble things.
What type of fortunes do you tell?
I ask a person questions about their relationships with their fellow man. Then I interpret their responses and align them with the constellations of the stars.
Let's see what fortune you can see.
A man's most difficult choices involve the relationships he has with others. Which of these relationships shall we explore first?
Let's discuss the bonds of family.
2 suitors vie for your daughter's hand. One is a prince who will lift your entire family in stature and wealth, but your daughter doesn't love him. The other is a lowly farmer whose land is poor, but whose heart is rich with your daughter's love. If she marries the prince, there will be peace for 100 years, but she will live a short and unhappy life. If she marries the farmer, she will live long and happily, but the land will be plunged into brutal warfare. To whom do you give your blessing?
Well, we're modern-day feminists, so...
I would give my blessing to whomever my daughter chooses as her husband. I would trust in her judgment and support her happiness.
In this matter, your answer aligns with the constellation Pygmalion, the sculptor. Of what shall we speak of next?
Speak of friendship, the bonds between comrades.
You are a poor guard, as is your closest friend. You learn that someone has stolen the devotional offerings from the local temple. You discover it was your friend who did this. His wife is very sick and requires medicine he cannot afford. He offers to split the money with you if you keep his secret. A large reward and a likely promotion await you if you arrest him. What do you do?
Looks like this is the nicest answer.
I would allow my friend to spend only what was needed to acquire the medicine. Then, I would anonymously return the rest.
Here I sense the stars of the constellation Pygmalion, the sculptor, in your response. Of what shall we speak of next?
Huh, Pygmalion again. I guess we'll go to duty. Why not?
Duty to king and country. Let us speak of that.
You are a scout in a king's army. A neighboring kingdom threatens your border. A fragile treaty keeps the peace, and you have orders to honor it. On patrol, you spot a soldier from the opposing kingdom hurriedly racing back to his side of the border. From where he was on your side, you see a scratched pattern on the ground, a signal for an invading force. What do you do?
I would observe the marks the enemy soldier had made to interpret their exact intent. Only then would I decide my next course of action.
Your answer is guided by the constellation Pygmalion, the sculptor. Now we have only the matter of society to discuss. You are a shepherd. You suspect a neighbor who is neither kin nor friend of opening your gate and grazing his flocks on your land. This shepherd's pastures lie between yours and the great forest. The wolves have been emerging from the forest in force this year and have claimed many of his flock. The wolves have spared your sheep while they grow fat on his. What do you do?
I want to help him for a price or work together with him. That will be nice.
I'd recognize that I benefit at his expense. He serves as a buffer between my sheep and the wolves. I would suggest that we work together to solve the problem.
I feel the sway of the constellation Libra, the scales, in your answer.
So, Pandora, what fortune do you read in my responses?
In fulfilling your duties, you believe that reason and sound thinking must be the basis of all decisions. In society, the common good is the highest goal. You believe people should work together to solve their collective problems. Friends should help each other. If your friend should stray from virtue, you believe it's your obligation to bring him back. You would honor your family, and yet you would treat a stranger with equal respect and hospitality. Your dominant constellation is Pygmalion, the sculptor. Wherever your path leads, you will walk nobly, and you will learn from your journey. Your choices have shed much light on the man who stands before me. I hope you have found my humble fortune illuminating in some small way.
I did. Thank you. I must be going, Pandora. Be well.
Apollo bless you.
Well, that actually was pretty interesting. Kind of an ancient Greek version of a BuzzFeed quiz, and fairly accurate, I would say. I feel pretty strongly aligned with all of those statements.
Here, Diaphanes, renowned architect, was shown by Apollo the temple and palace he was to build. As he gazed up at the cliffs, he was blinded by a beam of light. Shielding his eyes, he saw the outline of ghostly buildings high above. And thus the palace of the kings of Iolcus was built to honor the vision he had been given.
Interesting. A little bit of backstory and lore there. It's interesting that Apollo plays such a strong role in this game. We know from our good friend Nietzsche's commentary that there's kind of a dichotomy in Greek art and culture between the Apollonian tradition, which favors, rationality and beauty and order, and the Dionysian tradition, which is a little bit more lively, a little bit more rambunctious, more about bacchanalian revelry, drunken orgies and such. We're not seeing too much of a representation of the latter here. We're seeing lots of appeals to the Apollonian aesthetic of beauty and order and justice and such.
Here was born Amphinome, wife of King Trion. Though a farmer's daughter, she was gifted by the gods with beauty and virtue. Such was her grace that Hera blessed her union with the king. And so she became queen of Iolcus. My mother. A fine queen indeed.